Thank you, and thank you for compiling those white papers. And my understanding of this panel was that we're supposed to comment on them. And I think they're very good documents, especially if they would be complemented with some calibration to enable cross-linguistic comparison. It would be even better. 2 points though. For small languages and what you called V languages, vital languages, which are really not there yet. It's a bit, the message sent to politicians who decide on financing is a bit controversial, because we're compared to bigger languages, which are, or where language technology is commercially viable. So our politicians are looking at the results and thinking, we gave you money, your results are still in the last category. What have you been doing? This comparison does not take into account the commercial viability of language technology in each of these language communities. So for those V languages, really, as you said, comfort-enabling projects are necessary, and bigger languages get along on their own. And the second issue is intellectual property of language resources. Of course, we can get by with just roaming, but our intellectual property lawyer tells us that the way you have compiled corpora until now is simply a criminal offence. And if you do this roaming, you just hide the traces of your crime. You make it less obvious that you have committed this criminal offence, but it still can be penalized by 3 years in prison. So what we really should do is get across the message that we are not really hurting anybody by compiling language resources and developing language technology. We are not infringing really on the copyright of the authors. And this should be reflected in the regulation of the topic in the law. And we are now cooperating with a group of experts who are compiling the next copyright law for Estonian. And of course we will stay within the Berne Convention and European legislation, but we want as much as possible to influence the legislation in the direction that compiling language resources would be allowed as it should be by the content of the activity. Thank you very much.